But now that we've talked about these risks and challenges, we're going to look at some of the specific security compliances and controls that can help organizations with the security issues we've already spoke about. So today we're going to be looking at three well-known security protocols. We have the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, generally referred to as PCI or PCI-DSS. The Service and Organization Controls, referred to as SOC 2. And the Microsoft Teams certification and the Microsoft 365 app compliance program that come along with that. We'll start with an overview of the processes and criteria to meet these compliances, and then we'll dive deeper into each standard and find out more about their specific uses and values. So for all the compliances we're looking at today, there are anywhere from 20 to 40 strict and comprehensive policy and process pieces of documentation attached. They're very comprehensive frameworks. And they're looking for areas such as secure development policies, strict change management practices, regular patching, scans, and testing, and as well, they're all evidence-based evaluations, typically in the form of yearly audits, conducted by a third party. Each audit is conducted differently, with a focus on different core features. So let's dive into those specific standards that we mentioned before and find out more about their core features. So we'll start with the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. It's administered by the Payment Card Industry Security Standards Council. And how is it defined? So cybersecurity controls and business practices that any company that accepts payment card transactions must implement. It's backed by all the major payment processing companies. What's it used for? Well, ensuring that payment card numbers remain secure as they're transmitted across the economic ecosystem. Anyone with access to card numbers can immediately make fraudulent purchases and drain money from accounts. With banks generally issuing a refund in a scenario like this, it is in both the best interest of the merchant and the bank to have secure transmission of these numbers. And who does it apply to? Well, with this wide scope, it really applies to any entity that stores, processes, and or transmits cardholder data, which is to say virtually any organization that sells anything or accepts any donations. And as one of the strongest controls in regard to security in the industry, it is a very strict process to achieve. Similarly to the other compliances we're talking about, PCI is achieved through an evidence-based audit and has to be recertified year after year. And SOC 2 is next, so it stands for the Service and Organization Controls. And how is it defined? Well, it's a technical audit that's performed by a third-party auditor. It's a data security and privacy framework established by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, or AICPA, to help ensure that SOC 2's trust service principles are being met. What's it used for? Well, it tests whether your service organization controls meet the stringent requirements of the SOC privacy and security framework. So those 5 trust principles are security, availability, processing, integrity, and confidentiality of customer data. Organizations can choose to have the certification in 1 to 5 of these different categories. So who does this one apply to? Well, any organization that wants to ensure the security, availability, processing, integrity, and confidentiality of their customer data. Focusing on any of these areas for the certification can show a strong security of any organization. And now this certification comes in 2 stages, SOC 2 Type 1 and SOC 2 Type 2. The difference between these stages comes from time. Type 1 is often an organization's first ever SOC 2 report. It looks at internal controls, data governance, security, and privacy at the time of the audit. It's somewhat of a snapshot in time. Whereas the Type 2 report discusses the effectiveness of your organization's information security and privacy controls since your last SOC 2 audit, which is typically a year from the previous audit. And with ICE being a Microsoft Teams certified contact center, validation of security controls were required to achieve that status. So how is this defined? It's a 3-tier approach to app security and compliance within the Microsoft 365 applications. Working through the Microsoft Security certification was a major requirement for the Teams Contact Center certification. Microsoft looks into 4 sectors when certifying a solution: application security, operational security and secure deployment, data handling security and privacy, and an optional external compliance framework. So what is this one used for? Well, it offers assurance and confidence to organizations that data and privacy are adequately secured and protected when using Microsoft Teams applications. The security certification comes through this app compliance program, and the program is a 3-step program that can be used in many different variants of Microsoft products. with different criteria for each. ICE has been certified for Teams specifically through this program. And the three phases of the program are publisher verification, publisher attestation, and then the Microsoft 365 certification. So who does this one apply to? Well, any organization with an application that's looking to integrate with a product in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. This certification allows for both Microsoft and the organization to understand the integration and compliances with that application. So having this security compliance was crucial for ComputerTalk to have ICE certified as one of only a few Teams certified contact centers. So when it comes to ComputerTalk, we have achieved all of the certifications we've discussed so far. We've been PCI-DSS certified since 2013. We've had our SOC 2 certification since 2019, currently with a Type 2 certification. We've been a Microsoft Gold partner since 2005, and more recently, through the App Compliance Program, we've achieved the Microsoft Teams certification for Contact Center. And our primary goal as an organization is to ensure that all of our customer security is at the forefront of every decision we make.